Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Treasures at Home. I'm your host, Kelly Campbell. Today's guest is Elena Hensley. Helena, thank you for being a part of the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure and honor to be here with you today.
Yeah, I'm excited. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started in your story. So you're a homeschool mom, you're a business owner. Why don't you go ahead and just start by telling us a little bit about yourself, your home, and what you do?
Okay, yeah. My husband and I, we have six kids, and they are ages 9 down to we have twin 1.5-year-old baby
Oh,
boys.
wow.
So there's a lot of fun at our house on
Yes,
every
never,
day.
never dull, is it?
Yes, exactly. Definitely not. So we love it and we homeschool. We knew from the beginning that we wanted to homeschool. I was actually homeschooled when I was growing up. My parents homeschooled us. Um, that was something my husband right away from the beginning knew, like, yes, I really want that for our kids. And so
Mhm.
we've always known we want to do that. My husband, he works a job that provides for our family. And so I actually just started getting into like entrepreneurship just a little over a year ago. And so it's been a very exciting adventure. I was through our entire married and like raising kids and having kids season, I was completely
Mhm.
like head down, fully
Yes.
100% like
Zoned
my focus
in.
was on, yes, kids. And then, like, all of a sudden, they say there's an entrepreneurship bug, and it's like it bit me, and something happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, so since then, it's just
Yeah.
been, you know, a journey and adventure of how do I put the Lord first of all,
Hmm.
and then my husband and kids,
Hmm.
and then like
Yeah.
serving at our church and business,
Yep.
and like the
Yeah.
Lord has shown me as well. It's not that business is necessarily always the last thing. It's just following his leadership.
Hmm.
But yeah,
That's actually
so
really good. It was kind of the same way for me. So my oldest will be a senior next year, and I'm gonna try not to cry.
oh,
I have my days, but I've homeschooled from the very beginning, and I never did daycare, never did anything like that. So I've been with my kids this whole time, and I feel like about 10 years ago, or up to 10 years ago, it to me I was zoned in. I was like homeschool mom, like all the things. And then, like you said, it's like the Lord just added to my plate.
yeah,
And then I realized like it's almost like what he's doing through the body of Christ, like through these homeschool moms, that all of a sudden it's like, no, for the longest time I was like, I'm only a homeschool mom. I'm only here. And then all of a sudden it's like, but I have more for you without sacrificing that family time. So when
yeah,
you said that, I know exactly what you were talking
yeah.
about because it happened to me as well.
Yes, yes, exactly. And it's so crazy. It wasn't something on my horizon.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it just kind of boom. My husband, so we had, it was January of last year. So our twins were newborns, and
Mm.
there was a family, what's it called, reunion over the holidays. And my husband went and he came back. I stayed because our babies were so new. We weren't going out yet. And he was like, my cousin was talking about a book. I think you'd think it was interesting. I was like, why are you, what made you think of me on this book? He's like, it's called The Millionaire Fast Lane. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. But okay. So
So he saw it in you before you did.
yeah. And so
Hmm.
he's like, I'm going to put it on a Kindle so you can easily read it while you're like nursing our babies. And because I was spending
Wow.
a lot of time nursing twins. And so I'm like, okay. And I devoured that book. And yeah, the rest was history. So,
That's just history. Okay,
yeah.
so you've been homeschooling. How many years have you been homeschooling now?
Well, I'd say, I mean, we kind of, it's like, when did we officially start? I think
It's a hard
whatever that
question to
official
answer.
year that Ohio requires you officially started, I guess. So this might be our third year of official, but yeah,
Okay.
we were doing, little things before that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
So you have six kids, but you're homeschooling how many right now?
homeschooling the oldest two,
Okay.
really. So, yeah.
Okay. But you're still busy because the other four are doing something.
Yes.
Yes, you're trying to preoccupy them and oh, I
Yes.
remember those days. Oh yeah, I had four in 4 years. So
Yeah.
when I started homeschooling the oldest, the youngest was, gosh, I mean, she was just a few months old.
Yeah.
And I just remember having to navigate that and having to learn what that looked like and how to balance that. So
Yes.
so
Yes.
you've been homeschooling for a couple of years, and then even in the midst of homeschooling, all of a sudden you're reading this book. And did light bulbs start going off? Did you get your business idea from reading that book? How did your business, what is the name of your business?
Okay, so I've actually ended up doing a couple of things. And so
Okay.
the like my sweet spot that mostly I just call it Hensley Advisory right now.
Okay.
And so yeah, so basically I read the book and I was like, I'm gonna figure out this world of business because boom, like the potential and
Mm,
opportunities was what really exploded. But I did not think of myself as like a gifted and talented and person
hmm
with all these things to contribute. I was like, what in the world am I going to do? I don't know, but I'm going to figure out something. And so the first thing I came across was YouTube. Like, okay, all right. So
mm,
like I started making a YouTube channel and then that was fine. But then I got busy. So yeah, one thing led to another of what I was kind of doing. And so eventually I came across, kind of stumbled into the world of marketing. And
mm,
it's been amazing. I would have said, like, through most of my life, I would have not been interested in marketing at all. I would have just thought, like, I don't like popularity stuff. I
hmm
don't know. And it just was not interested or interesting to me. But I kind of stumbled into it and, like, began to really connect with it. And what I realized for me is the opportunity to lift somebody up and celebrate them
mm,
and help connect them and giftings God put in them with the people that they can then serve is like that has just been an
yeah.
incredible like privilege.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah, along the way. So the way I kind of stumbled into that was I ended up like starting a software. I didn't create the software itself, but I started a software for businesses. So it's like, okay, businesses, that's like a real thing. I'm getting really interested in business. So
Mm,
my software is named Trivita. It stands for Tree of Life because the heart and vision behind it was
wow.
that it's going to help business owners, like small business owners, be able to get a little bit more freed from like maybe the grind of building their businesses and help them with streamlining like
Okay.
generating leads, capturing inbound leads, streamlining with workflows and AI and some different things like that.
Wow.
So, and then, but as I continued, the Lord just kept on pressing on that. So I would do things like, um, I would go to the Chamber of Commerce and different things like that. But the Lord
Mm,
just kept pressing like deeper. And the thing that I always just kept coming back to was like, I really, like, God's people have so much in them. And it's like you were mentioning
hmm
earlier about um,
More.
even homeschool moms, like
Yeah.
it's like God's increasing our
hmm
capacities and it's like
hmm
He's adding to our plates. And
Exactly. That's what I
yeah,
always say.
yeah. And it's like, I see so, I just feel like every homeschool mom I know, I'm like,
hmm
you are amazing. You have so
Yeah.
many amazing things. And a lot of times
It's
they don't
so
necessarily
true.
recognize it.
Yeah.
I did not recognize it all. I'm like, yeah, most people are like everyone else, maybe,
Yes.
I don't, but
It's
it's like,
like an unlocking of another layer
yes, it's
or
so
level.
true. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's so true. And so I also just, it broke my heart. I know so many homeschool moms who, like, it's a family that loves the Lord and they're seeking his
hmm
kingdom and they are like struggling financially.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
sometimes they'll either, like go back to work or they're just so many ways that they're trying to make things work or they're feeling limited in the things they want to do for the Lord for because of
hmm
finance.
Right.
And that's the things that I just,
Yeah.
even as I'm like doing the software and I'm figuring out these different things, but that is literally the thing that like I lie awake at night
hmm
thinking about how I can help like Christian moms, like any mom I know. Like I'll just think of her and I was like, she has all these giftings. Like,
Yeah.
how do I
Yeah.
connect this with people who need it, you
There's a
know? And
scripture that says that our giftings make room for us. And I think
yes,
there's another one that says that even our giftings bring us before kings or people of
yes,
greatness. And
yes.
it's so
That's
true. So
amazing.
I am
Yes.
like listening to you and I'm like, gosh, there's like a million different ways like I want to go with this. Like I want to talk, I want to speak to the woman that's like, okay, like you have, if the Lord is inside of you and he's gifting you and all this, like it's time to let him out, but you can only be as successful as you allow yourself to heal and step
Mhm.
into your true calling. Like that's
Yes.
one way I want to go. The other way is
Yeah.
you made a comment of like you started off like with the YouTube channel and then you did like something else and something else. And I wanted to speak to that too and say that that's okay.
Mm,
Like sometimes it may look like, well, I'm going to try this for a while, or I'm going to dabble in
yeah.
this, or I'm going to have my
Yeah.
hand in this. But really, you're learning as you
Yes.
do these things. So don't look, if you're not doing that anymore, don't look at yourself as a failure. Look at
Thank
it
you.
as, or take away from it, like, what did I learn in this season? What can I carry with me from that to something new?
Hmm.
Um, I never would have thought that I was podcasting. I was just
Yeah.
like, nope, don't want to do it. Don't want to, I don't even want to learn. But I look back over the last, let's just say 2 years, and I go, everything that I did these last 2 years led me to get here, and I'm enjoying it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because we don't know where it's going to take us. We're just taking the steps in front of us that we know we best how to
Hmm.
take.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's, yeah. So,
it's true.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's
I
so, and it's also just an act of obedience.
exactly, exactly. And that's what I appreciate your encouragement with that. And it does get a little embarrassing sometimes when I'm like ta run into somebody who knew I was going to do the YouTube thing or whatever, like, oh, this year, well, I'm not really doing that so much anymore, but I'm doing this. But
I'm laughing because I feel the same way sometimes. I'm like, well, it was, it was a bust, but I
yeah,
tried.
yes, yes. And I haven't completely like sunsetted it. I'm just not posting right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, at any given time, I have probably 20 different ideas in my head that I want to do. So I also
Yes.
give myself credit that I'm not at least pursuing all of them at once.
Yes,
But
I was thinking about that. Like, I see all these like needs or these like cracks and things, and I'm like, oh, I should start that, or I should do that, or I should be the one that, fixes that. Or I have all these amazing ideas, and I was thinking, maybe I should just start like a homeschool coaching, um, to help women discover what their niche is because I have like all these like amazing ideas to do, but I
yeah,
can't do them all.
yes, right. Yes. I love that. I love that.
Yes. You created a website called Travita. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so what does that actually entail? Like, what do you do?
Okay, yes. So, the main core of what I started out as doing was offering voice AI for small businesses who rely on phone calls. And so it could be like service businesses like HVAC or plumbers or even like realtors, different things like this, CPAs, whatever it may be, local businesses that rely on phone calls. And a lot of times a missed phone call, that equals a missed opportunity. And so I can
Hmm.
connect their phone to and train a AI agent to basically do their intake. So they never miss another phone call and they never have to worry about any missed opportunities.
Oh
So
my God. Okay, so I have to ask, like, how did you get started in that world?
yes. So that was I came across a YouTuber that was talking about it. So but it's so
Okay.
my software is built off of a software called Go High Level. And so they like that kind of structure is all there already. But you can like start your own white label off of it.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so
Was there a risk involved when you first started?
so it's in terms of like financially, like a financial
Financially,
investment.
and then just a learning curve?
Yeah, the learning curve was really huge. So I guess you could maybe say I officially started my business and my software in August. And so the learning curve was very real. And
Wow.
it took a while. Yeah, but um, it just depends on, I mean, I guess everybody's pace is different, but I was like eking out little snatches of time here and there too to work on it.
Wow.
So, but, and then financially, you can start on like there's a free trial for a little while, and then you can start on with a base plan of 97, I believe, dollars a month. And then what that does is it gives yourself an account and it gives you two more accounts that you can turn around and sell to somebody else kind of thing.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay, that is amazing. So a little bit of a learning curve, or maybe a little bit more than a little bit. So when did you find time? So you had babies and children and homeschooling and all the things, not to include all the mothering duties and
Right.
activities and wifely
Right.
duties and activities. When did you find time to not only do the training, but also start like building this business?
Yeah. That was just crazy. I remember I was actually just sitting in church one day during the sermon, and all of a sudden, I don't know, it just like dawned on me. I was like, I'm gonna
Hmm.
start getting up at 3 a.m. And I have no idea, but I was like, yeah, that's the way I'm gonna have time to do this because otherwise it's not gonna have time. And that would never have been something that would work for me at
Mm,
all. But it's like we were talking about before, it's like God is like, I'm giving you this capacity. And I just
mhm,
started waking up at 3 a.m. It was actually kind of like right hard on the heels of my babies started like sleeping a lot more. So I had was
mhm,
already kind of like in that used to not really necessarily getting a bunch of sleep anyway. And so I just kept coasting on that. And God's grace has really been on that because now I continue to do that. And my husband's like, you need to get sleep sometime. I'm like, well, I go to bed as soon as we put our kids
mhm.
down. I pretty much go to bed. So I'm still getting like around 6 hours a night. And I just feel like God's grace is on it right now. It's like it's a
Wow.
season. It is a form of an investment,
Hmm.
and um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the snatch of time that I
Wow.
have. So,
That is dedication right there. I mean, we talk about like obedience, but dedicating specific time, I call them pockets of productivity, but you
mm,
created time for that. Sometimes, and there's people that I talk to that they'll say, my kids were, doing this or they were preoccupied, so I went and did about an hour's work at work or whatever,
mhm,
pockets of productivity. But you actually carved out time to do that. That's a sacrifice. And sometimes I think that we want something that's easy, like, oh, well, we have an idea and let's just make money. But there is a sacrifice that's going to happen. There is some dedication and commitment that's going
mhm,
to happen on our part. Can we talk about that just for a little bit? I want to talk about, because I don't ever want to color code anything.
right.
Anytime that I have a guest on my podcast, they had to sacrifice something. They had to put in some kind of work. It wasn't just easy. Oh, I'm going to start this. One girl said that one of her trainings was like a 300 or 3,000, something like that module that she had to go through to learn what she needed to learn. So, do you have any other, like, do you want to weigh in on that as far as what that looks like for a mom that wants to start a business?
Yeah, that totally. I know what you're talking about, and
Hmm.
I think for me, that's something that I've been learning about a lot. Like my kids, our family, we have a dream of moving one day to like we rent a house that God has blessed us with, and we dream of moving to our own house someday. And my kids, like God could just plunk us down in the new house. And, like God seems to love the process and the growth that comes through that. And the one of the deepest ways to grow is through that sacrifice and the surrender. And a lot of times we don't get to choose the thing we're going to sacrifice so much. It's
That's
like,
true.
okay, this is the thing that looks like I'm going to have to sacrifice here. This is the
Yeah.
thing the Lord is leading me to do. And I did not want to sacrifice like for me at this stage of our kids, and I'm not saying like for everybody is going to be different, but for me at the stage of our kids, I still wanted to be present during their awake time as much as possible. And I
Hmm.
still do have like appointments during the daytime that I do, so
Hmm.
but that bulk of time, I was like, I am going to need to carve this out.
Brings me to your why. I know that I put that actually in the form, and I'm going to read it if that's okay. But
Yeah.
it says, my question was, what was your why of starting? And you said, my first why was wanting to buy a home with land for our family and free my husband up, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that that is feminine and beauty are beautiful. And I think that that is what God intended women to be, the helpmate. So I look at that and I'm like, it's beautiful. It has grown to helping other families experience financial freedom so that they can be more available for that the Lord leads them to without financial limitations. And I think our why has to be greater than our fear, than our
Mhm.
uncertainty, than our disobedience of not stepping out. Like if the Lord is really calling you to step out, like if you really feel that tug, then you should constantly have your why in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about that every day. I think about the families that could be impacted by my obedience. I
Mhm.
think about our kids' future.
Wow.
I think about
Yeah.
um, kingdom work that we can be available to do.
Yeah.
And I think about a yard for the kids. We are
Yeah.
blessed with a yard, but I think about
Yeah.
more like and animals, being able to take care of animals, So it's a range,
Yeah.
like the deeply eternal significant things, and then
Yes.
just the fun things that I'd love to be able to have our kids share with. But those are the
Yes.
sorts of things you're talking about, that sacrifice. And it's like, yes, I am really connected with that why. And
Yeah.
so in those
So since starting, have you seen a financial growth?
To some extent, yes. And we did invest some money in like training and resources around that software. And so this month actually, I think is the first month where I feel like it's like reversing to where the income is more than what we spent actually. And
Wow.
so it's kind of like celebration mode.
Yay.
But
That
yeah.
is great.
Yeah, and I've really
Yeah.
appreciated my husband has like supported me along the way. I'm like, honey, I really
Mm,
believe this is gonna work. He's like, okay, yeah. So
that's important. So how do you market your business?
yes. So the number one way for me that I have so far is through like personal um like networking, I guess basically. So like for example, the Chamber of Commerce, I go to every meeting
Mm,
I can. Um I contacted
that's
the Chamber
smart.
of Commerce to ask, like, can I host a lunch and learn? And they were like, well,
Mm,
hey, why don't you actually just be the guest speaker at one of our regular meetings? Because then you have all the attendance all built in.
that
I was
was
like, thank you.
smart.
Yes. So that was very gracious of them to invite me to do that. And so, you know, did that. And then um, another professional networking group that I'm a part of. And then as well, just trying to build relationships with people.
Yeah.
Um, people
I
like you.
that is great. Yeah, we shouldn't underestimate the power of networking.
Yeah, because to me, it's like I want to do business with people that I
Hmm.
trust. So
Hmm.
meeting them is very helpful.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and then I have dreams and ambitions of things. I always think I should get around to social media at some point, but I just have not pursued that yet. And
So how can my listeners contact you or find your information?
well, I actually, so stewardyourcall.com is a website that I have been creating. And actually like put together a resource that if any of your listeners feel like I don't know what my giftings would be or I don't know how I would start, I put together a resource that is free for them, and it's at stewardyourcall.com/flight plan. And it's a customized flight plan of
Wow.
launching your dream.
Yeah, and
And
I'll put the
so
link down in the show notes too.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so if they fill out a little survey, just kind of talking about any dream on their heart or anybody that they feel called to serve, and a few
Mhm.
questions like that. And then I will actually put together a customized, like I call it a flight plan, but it's a possible direction that they could go to
Mhm.
serve a need. And it gives them some insight into an audience and
That's
um,
amazing.
a paid offer that they can have, as well as like a free resource to give people a taste of working with them.
Yeah.
And so some different things like that.
I may go to it myself and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
fill it out and see what comes up for me. I love
Yes.
doing stuff like that though.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I love that. Okay, so stewardyourcall.com/flight plan. And okay, do you have any last words of advice or encouragement?
I would say this week, one thing I felt like we have this mug in our cabinet and someone had given it to us, but it says along the lines of it's like, let me never be guilty of asking God for too little, but let me rather be guilty of asking him for too much. So I butchered the wording a
Mm.
little bit, but it's like um, I
Yeah.
was getting out the cups for dinner and I just felt that cup was highlighted. I'm like, oh, okay. My husband was like struggling with something, and I was like, oh yeah, he could probably use encouragement. So I pulled it out to put it on his spot
Mm.
for him, and I felt like the Lord was like, no, I'm talking to you. I was like,
He does that a lot.
so yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I put it at my spot, and just that's been something that the Lord, I feel like the Lord has been challenging me, like let me, dream with him and
Yes.
let him do big things through us. Like we're his people. We're called to change the world in whatever form that looks like, whether,
Yeah.
from the overtly spiritual, like planning a church or doing missions across the world versus all
Yeah.
the way to raising our kids versus to all the way to our business.
Yes.
Whatever it is, like let's give him the room to do as big as he wants to do through us.
I love that. I believe that there's a scripture that says you have not because you ask not. So we should get in the habit of asking. And that's another thing too. Ask God, what do you have for me? What is in my hands? What's in my home right now that I can start blessing others with? Because chances are when the Lord is putting something on your heart, it's not just for you. Yes, your family gets benefit from it, but it's actually promoting and enhancing the kingdom of God,
Yeah.
and you're blessing others.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Again. Well, awesome. Well, Elena, I am so happy that you came on today and got to share. I feel like we covered a lot. Um, I have one last question. What are you guys having for dinner tonight?
Oh my goodness. We're having something very unusual. So my husband and I, first of all, we met in Asia doing like missions work. And there's this
Oh,
one dish that we love. It's a family favorite. It's called lap. And it's from the country of Laos. And it's like their national dish. And so we're having that. It's like ground up meat with mint, and you eat it with cucumber and sticky rice. And
oh my
um,
gosh.
we like it. So
That's amazing. What's it called again?
it's a funny name, I guess, but it's called lop.
Lop.
Yeah, that's it.
That, okay, well, that sounds great. I love Asian food. My
Yes.
husband does not as much, but oh, I do. And I love curry.
Yeah,
I just love food. Food's
me too.
our love
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
That's so great. Well, guys, I hope you were blessed today. Remember to let your light shine before all men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Until next time.